Hey guys, what's up? It's iPhone here, and today I wanted to show off some of my Ash Umbral builds because I haven't made a video in a while, and that's because I was taking a quick break from YouTube and Twitch for that matter. I just wanted to kind of like refocus myself and kind of find out what I wanted to do with both my channels. So that was a thing, and I'll have a video talking about that a little bit later, but I wanted to finish off the Umbral build series and all the other series that I started before the end of 2018, so then going into 2019 we have, pretty much a fresh slate. So, yeah, let's talk a little bit about Ash and the Umbral builds that I put together for him. I actually have 3 different builds, one for Seeking Shuriken, one for Fatal Teleport, and also one for Blade Storm. So the one for Fatal Teleport, you have your Umbral Vitality and Umbral Fiber on there, which is just for tanking damage and getting energy through Hunter Adrenaline, which is awesome. But let's talk a little bit more about the Seeking Shuriken build, because this is my favorite out of the few, simply because you can actually hit the cap that you need to get to in terms of power strength to strip away all of the enemy's armor just by throwing on Umbral Intensify paired with Umbral Vitality, right? So the rest of the mods that you throw on with this build are basically all in duration, for example, so you can keep away the enemy's armor for a longer period of time. So you have Prime Continuity, Constitution for your duration on there, Cunning Drift for a little bit of range because you want the stun on your Smoke Bomb, Blade Storm, etc. You still want that stuff to be functional. Umbral Intensify, Umbral Vitality for health and power strength, Prime Flow for your energy, Streamline for your casting so you can cast more frequently, Seeking Shuriken, the augment to strip away enemy armor, and then you have Augur Message on here. So then the enemy's armor stays stripped for a longer period of time as well. Now, I have Arcane Velocity on here, but you can swap this out depending on what you're using. In this video, I'm going to use Arcane Tempo. I typed in Arcane there because I'm an idiot. I'm going to use Arcane Tempo because I'm going to be demonstrating with the comb. Actually, you know what? We'll throw on two different Arcanes. So I'll throw on one Velocity and I'll throw on one Tempo just to kind of demonstrate because I can show you 2 different builds. But yeah, Cruise Projection on here to strip away enemy armor, but, because we're going to be using Seeking Shuriken anyway, the aura doesn't really matter. Energy Siphon is just fine as well. This would be the type of build that I would use if I were in like a public group, for example, and I just wanted to, kill the VIPs and stuff like that. So if we were to go ahead, back out, jump over to our little console over here, and then spawn in a Heavy Gunner, like so. Level 155, we're going to keep him paused, and we're going to simulate. If we jump over to these guys, use our Shuriken, it strips away all of their armor, and they get, obviously, their bleed proc, right? So that enemy armor is completely gone, and they're bleeding, and this will come back eventually, but I think it's like maybe, I don't know how long it's going to stay gone for. It's obviously based off your duration, so that was maybe like 13 seconds, I think. 13 seconds maybe. And then what this allows you to do, because the enemy armor is gone, you can strip away the armor from all of these guys, and then just go ahead and shoot them. So you'll see the difference in damage that we deal to the guy who has no armor compared to the guy with armor. So the armor is determined by that yellow health bar. This guy takes like literally no damage. Same with this guy. Strip away their armor and they die omega fast. So stripping away the armor with Seeking Shuriken, really, really good, especially if you're going deep into like an endgame run and you're with a squad who isn't using 4 times Cruise Projection, right? So moving on from that, we're going to be taking a look at the Fatal Teleport build. I like to use a dagger for this, so I have a dagger called Bam Was Not Here because I made this saw, or this dagger, whenever Bam wasn't here, so I have no idea if it's good or not, because he's usually like, oh yeah, this isn't the best, you can use this here, everything. So, Fatal Teleport, it's basically just like you press free, and the thing that you press free while you're aiming at it, it dies, right? So you can teleport to them, and then 50% of the total cost of the teleport is going to be granted back to you, okay? So Umbral Vitality, Umbral Fiber on here, so you're pretty tanky. You got 356 armor, which isn't super high, but you also have 1.2k health. Constitution for your duration. Same with Augur Message for a little bit more duration as well, in case you want to go invisible. Cunning Drift was the only range mod that I felt like I needed, because I could teleport to literally anything. Fatal Teleport, or just teleport in general, has a pretty high base range. Streamline and Fleeting, so then I can spam it, and then Hunter Adrenaline on here for the energy to come back, and obviously Fatal Teleport for, your what's it called, the finisher damage and stuff like that. So Cruise Projection doesn't really matter too much. Of course, it's nice to have on, but because you're going to be dealing finisher damage, it doesn't really matter too much because you're going to be one-shotting the guys anyway. And because this is more of a tanky build, we're using Grace and Guardian That way we can take a lot more damage and get more energy back with our Hunter Adrenaline. You'll notice that we don't actually have flow on here because I don't really see the need, because you have max efficiency on here. And you'll see that we kind of just melt things anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill all of these enemies and I'm going to spawn in Lancers. Now, the reason I'm spawning in Lancers is because they shoot a lot more and it'll be easier to sort of demonstrate, you know, the energy that we get back by spawning in Lancers, right? So let's just go ahead and we'll unpause these guys. Okay, that should be them spawned in. So if we go over to them and we, you know, cast our third ability, we're down to, you know, 143. And obviously we're going to get that back whenever we kill them. So if these guys would like to deal damage to us, we're going to get, you know, a little bit of our energy back. And we don't take too much damage from them either, even though I, you know, almost died there. So let's just go ahead and murder them by using Fatal Teleport. But you instantly teleport to them, you get 50% of that total energy spent back, and then they more or less get one shot. So I like using the dagger because it's a very short animation and you can throw on lethal teleport, or not lethal teleport, covert lethality on there and murder them too. And then last but not least, we're going to be taking a look at the Bladestorm build. Now, Bladestorm, it's all about keeping your combo up. So you use the Venka because you can build your combo multiplier very, very fast with Venka. So put those on and then take a look at the build. Now the build is a little bit different. I use Arcane Trickery, or 2 sets of Arcane Trickery, because that's going to give you a 20% chance to go invisible on finisher, and Bladestorm does count as a finisher attack, right? So while you're invisible and you are using Bladestorm, the total energy per mark on an enemy is actually cut in half, right? So going invisible for a long time is very, very beneficial, and that's why I have a decent amount of duration mods on here. So Augur Message, Prime Continuity, Constitution, all for duration, Umbral Intensify for your strength, Umbral Vitality for your health, Rising Storm, so you have that combo counter lasting a lot longer, Prime Flow, because we want to have a lot of energy to mark a lot of targets, Streamline for your efficiency, Cunning Drift so we can mark more enemies and, you know, catch more of them in one cast of Bladestorm. Cruise Projection is nice on here as well, resisting that enemy armor, but again, doesn't matter too much. You can use pretty much any aura you like. Steel Charge is pretty good too, because Steel Charge obviously increases the damage of your finisher because it's melee, okay? So, if we were to go ahead and spawn in our heavy gunners, like so, and we simulate them, we're going to pause the AI though. So, what we're going to do first is we're going to build up our combo. Like this. We're just going to go ahead, mash E on this guy. Of course, it's dealing bonus damage because, you know, we're getting the stealth multiplier because these guys are paused. We're going to make ourselves invisible, and we're going to press 4, and then look at all the enemies until they have, like, 3 marks over their head, and that's indicated by the little, these little, like, arrow-looking things that are above them, right? So being invisible makes these marks, every single mark that you put on an enemy, is going to cost 50% less, right? And then you go ahead and you press your 4, and you're going to let all of your clones go and start dealing damage. Now, this is all slash damage, and it's going to make the enemies bleed. So it's going to deal damage through the enemy's resistances, and we can go ahead and we can press 3 to join in as well. And then they're going to get stabbed and die. And while you are in this sort of phase, you're completely immune to all damage, as indicated by the gray health bar up in the top right-hand corner, which is really, really cool. And it's just kind of like, hey, I'm going to die, get me out of here sort of ability, as well as one of the most damaging abilities in game, right? You also got some pretty weird scenarios that happen like this where you're falling out of the map. So let's just go ahead and do slash unstuck. And then there we go. You can see all these guys have a lot of their health pretty much gone. But because now we have a higher base, you know, common multiplier down there in the bottom right, or at least we did until it ran out. You can see it starting to build up again in the bottom right as well. You're going to deal a lot more damage. So the higher that combo multiplier is, the more damage your clones are going to deal. So it's very, very crucial to keep those, or to keep that as high as possible, right? So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and send a few clones out again, build our combo multiplier a little more by, you know, killing that guy. There's our Arcane Trickery proc as well. So let's just go ahead and get to a 3 times multiplier. Okay, and we're going to mark them as much as we can, like so. And then we're going to go ahead, press 4 again, and let our clones go in and kill everything. And you'll see we're getting 4K slash procs right there, which is pretty good. And this guy isn't even finished being stabbed yet. And there's another stab, and we're getting more bleed procs on him. So it's basically like every single time that your clone stabs an enemy, it's going to kind of extend the duration of the slash proc while also dealing more initial damage type of thing, which is really, really cool. So this guy's just going to get stabbed 3 times, lots of damage, and, you know, free 4K slash procking at the one time, which is really awesome. Bladestorm is actually one of the most damage dealing abilities in the game. So, you know, these may not be the best builds for Seeking Shuriken or Fatal Teleport or Bladestorm, but it's a good all-round build. So you have that very high base HP, you've got the power strength that you need for your Seeking Shuriken, your Bladestorm, you're able to extend the combo duration with your Rising Storm augment. You got your Fatal Teleport, you're pretty tanky, you can take a lot of damage versus level 155 enemies, which you're only going to come across level 110 in sortie level missions. So for pretty much every single piece of casual content, you're pretty much covered. So yeah, like I said, they may not be the best Umbral Ash builds, but they are some pretty good ones, and I like using them a lot. So anyway, guys, that is going to be it for this video. If you liked it, go ahead, hit that like button below. If you want to see more Warframe content from me, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.